And now Alexis is going to talk a bit about how we can get more plays out there that are written by women.
Thank you. I'm holding an anthology called Plays by Early American Women, 1775 to 1850. It's edited by the historian Amelia Howe Pritzer, and it's published by the University of Michigan Press. It contains 8 plays by women, and it is a marvelous tool, a gift for anyone teaching women in American theater in a graduate or undergraduate course. But even more valuable, almost, than those 8 plays in the anthology is the list of U.S. dramatists, all women, and their work, all before 1900, that Amelia collected and somehow managed to convince her publisher to publish. At the back of this book, 75 pages of a bibliography. And I guarantee you that many of these plays were published at the time that they were written. Some of them were self-published. Now you would be lucky to find copies of most of these, and even the most extensive libraries. You probably have to go to collections, these women's papers in various collections, possibly at Radcliffe or Library of Congress, I'm not sure. And I guarantee that most of us sitting here have never heard of most of these women or their plays. So the question, one of the questions I have for you is, have we come a long way? And the answer is no, we've actually regressed. Because if we can't even find copies of plays by women produced during the past 50 years, let alone before 1900, what can we possibly do about that? Where would you go to find plays by Marty Evans Charles, to find skywriting by Rosalind Drexler, or Gloria Esperanza by Julie Bovasso? Yet these were groundbreaking playwrights in the 1960s and 70s. Okay, why is it important to publish women's plays? To me, that's like a no-brainer. It has been all too easy historically to erase women's work. So it seems to me that it's our duty and must be our passion to get it out there, to publish it. Publishing validates it. It makes it permanent. It gets women's work into the canon. And I don't mean the male so-called universal canon, I mean the women's canon of plays, which we have all been creating for the last 50 or so years since the women's movement of the 70s. After Applause Publishing put out Judith Barlow's edited collection of women's plays from 1900 to 1930, the productions of Sophie Treadwell's Machinale skyrocketed. People had never heard of this play. They hadn't read it. And suddenly it was being produced. It is still being produced, largely because it has been published, and that particular edition continues to be published, and so the play is produced. If you are a contemporary playwright, it is a way for your script to get to artistic directors and producers who do not see the New York production or the McCarter production or the Alliance production. Maybe your play hasn't even been produced yet. Why shouldn't it be published anyway? What is wrong with that? I mean, this is like some sin that we have, created here, that you should not get your play published. Your agent will let you get it published until it's been produced. Well, how else are teachers supposed to teach your plays, or students study your plays, and potentially write about your plays?
I said you would clap anytime you wanted.
If they're not published, how are scholars to understand the body of work created by women during the last 50 years? And it is an enormous body of work, Miss Glass or Sands, whatever, to the contrary, if they can't read the play. Now, having said that, we all know that along with newspapers and perhaps theater critics, the traditional publishing industry, the mainstream traditional publishing industry, is having a lot of trouble these days. And it is barely interested in plays anyway, whether singly or as anthologies, unless the play has received an unusual amount of publicity or awards, they're not going to be interested. Yes, there are niche publishers such as Theater Communications Group and Smith and Krause, but they can't and they don't publish everything. There's no way. And also, that traditional publishing route is a very, very long process. The playwright Shirley Lauro and I recently co-edited a collection of plays by women called Frontlines, political plays by American women. It took us 3 years to get that book out, from the start of having our light bulb idea to the point where it can be sitting in a mound of books at Barnes & Noble or Drama Bookshop. If we had done it online, if we had done it digitally, if we had gone to publishing on demand and published it ourselves, it would probably have taken 3 months. So my question for the breakout session, assuming we have time for those breakout sessions, what I would love for some of you to
lock the
think about-
doors and pour more
Yeah.
wine.
What are alternative strategies to conventional publishing? Because they are out there. Caridad Savich, who is a wonderful playwright, has a no passport imprint. Not only is she publishing her own work, she's publishing the work of her colleagues. Carolyn Gage has published 47 of her plays on, Lulu.com. And, unfortunately, terms like vanity press start to creep into our minds. We have to get over that fast, because, the internet and digital publishing, these are tools that we should be using. And, why not? Why not be entrepreneurs? If we can be entrepreneurs as producers, we can be entrepreneurs as publishers, we can become, small press publishers in our own right, for our own voices. So I invite you, I have my computer, I invite you to come and look with me at www.lulu.com, and let's explore some other models.